Hi everyone, it's Emma, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a mitred granny square. In this example that I've been working on recently, I've been using some really pretty hand-dyed sock yarn. All of this was very kindly gifted to me from Arcane Fibreworks, and I will pop all of the details of the type of the yarn and the names of the colourways in the description box below. So for a mitred granny square, you're essentially working along two sides of the square only, and it creates this lovely diagonal line going across the centre there. So you're essentially working just 1/4 of a granny square only. It's a really simple pattern and it just gives you something a little bit different, I think. For the purposes of this tutorial, I've got some DK weight cotton yarn here, and I'll be using that with a 4mm hook just to make things a little bit easier for you to see, but you can use whatever yarn you prefer for this project. Just remember to change your hook for the appropriate size. Please note that I am based in the UK and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. To work this granny square, you're going to need to know how to work a UK treble crochet, and that's equivalent to a US double crochet. But don't worry, because as always, I will pop all of the information you need down in the description box below. Okay, in this example here, I've actually been changing colours after each round and working one round only in each colour to create this really pretty kind of blended effect with all the colours. In this example that I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show you how to work it in one single solid colour, and then once I've done that, I'll then show you how to change colours if you wanted to create more of an effect like this. To get started, we'll need to create a slip knot, and you can do that anywhere that you prefer. We're going to pop that on our hook and we're going to chain 4 and 4. And then we're going to insert our hook into that chain furthest away, grab the yarn and pull it through, and grab the yarn and pull it through again to create a slip stitch, and we've now created our chain circle that we're going to work into. And even though for the mitred square we're only working on two sides, to begin with we're actually going to create one full round of a square to give us our basis to work onto. So in order to do that, we're going to give everything a bit of a tug there to open it up so you can see the centre circle. If you find that a bit tricky, you can always substitute that for a magic ring if you prefer, or just chain a larger number, 5 or 6, and it will give you a bigger space to work into. So for our first round, we're going to chain 4, and that counts as 1 stitch plus a corner space. And now we're going to create our first side, and to do that we're going to work 3 treble crochets. Remember that I'm using UK terminology, so that's equivalent to 3 US double crochets. In order to do that, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the centre of that circle there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And that's created our first stitch. We need to do that twice more. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. We've got one more stitch to work, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that's created our first side. Now we need to create our corner space, and we're going to do that by chaining 2. And for the second side of our square, we just need to work another 3 treble crochets. We've got 1, 2, and 3. We need to create another corner by chaining 2, and that's our first 2 sides completed. For the third side, we need to work 3 more treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2 for our next corner space, and this last side is a little bit different because these chain stitches from the beginning, remember, count as a stitch already. So instead of working 3 treble crochets, we only need to work 2. So we're going to do 1 and 2, and now we need to join that to these chain stitches here, and we're going to do that by slip stitching into the 3rd chain from the bottom. And I find it easier to count backwards, so we can identify this stitch here, and there's the top of the stitch, which means that this is our 4th chain, so that this one must then be our 3rd. So rather than counting up to 3 from the bottom, I find it easier to count 1 backwards. We're going to pop our hook through there and make sure we go underneath both loops of the chain stitch there to keep it nice and secure. We're going to grab that yarn and pull it through, and then pull through the loop on the hook. And that's the base of our mitered square completed. And now what we're going to do from this point is work along 2 sides of the square only. So I'll show you how to do the next round now. First off, we're going to chain 3, and this counts as 1 stitch. So we need to work 2 more stitches into this space here, and we're going to do that by working 2 treble crochets. We've got 1 and 2. So we've essentially got 3 stitches there into that space. We're going to skip all of these stitches here, and we're going to go straight into this next corner space, and we're going to work another 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2, chain 2 for our corner, and then we're going to work another 3 treble crochets into that same space that we've just worked our previous 3 stitches into, and that will take us around the corner onto the next side of the square. And there's our 3rd stitch, and now we're going to go straight across into this next corner space and work another 3 treble crochets. And that's our 2nd side completed. So we're now going to continue building on this by working along these 2 sides of the square only. So for the 3rd round, we're going to chain 3 again and turn our work, but this side's going to be a little bit different because our next space is actually here. So we're going to leave these chain stitches on their own there, and we're going to go straight into this next space with 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And then we're going to go to the next space, which just happens to be our corner space, with 3 trebles again. And 3. We're going to chain 2 to take us around that corner, and we're going to work 3 more trebles into that same space, which will complete the corner there. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. We're going to go ahead and work 3 more trebles into this next space along. 1, 2 and 3. And we're going to end this side just how we started. So we started here just with a chain 3, which counted as 1 stitch. So we're going to work 1 stitch to finish off this side, and we're going to do that into the top of the chain stitches, by popping our hook through the top there of the 3rd chain. And I have actually gone underneath both loops there If you find it too tricky to go underneath both loops, it's not a huge problem. It just makes it a bit more secure. And we're going to finish off by working our treble into that space. And that forms the basis of our mitered square. So if we just take a little look, in the previous round, we started with our chain 3, which counts as 1 stitch, whereas in the previous round before that, we actually started with 3 stitches together. And to continue building the square, what you will do is actually alternate that. So we've just completed a round with 1 single stitch. We're going to chain 3 to start the next round, and we need to work 2 more trebles into this space here to make this a set of 3 stitches. So if you ever get confused about how you should be starting the round, you can just have a look at the previous round before, and whatever you did, you're doing the opposite the next time, and just alternate that all the way along. So we've got our 3 stitches here now. I've just worked 2 trebles, and the chain stitches from the start count as a stitch. And now we just need to work our way along this side again by working 3 treble crochets into each one of those spaces. And in the corner, we're going to work 3 trebles, 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2 for our corner space, and then work another 3 trebles into that same space there, and 3. And we're just going to continue along this side of the square now with 3 trebles into each space. And then once you reach the end of that side, remember we started off here with 3 trebles, so we're going to finish with 3 trebles here. 2 and 3. And if we were going to continue with the same colour, what we would do is chain 3 and turn, and you can see from the previous round we had 3 stitches, which means that this round, this one must stand alone, so we would go straight into this space here. What I'm actually going to do is cut this yarn now, and I'm going to show you what you would do if you were going to change colour. So I've just fastened that off, and I'm going to turn it over, and I've got my next colour here. I'm going to form a slip knot, and what I'm going to do is work a standing stitch into the top of this stitch from the previous round. So instead of working a chain 3, we're just going to go straight in with a stitch. And if you would like some more information on standing stitches and how to use them, I will link a tutorial that I have on those. But essentially you need to start with a slip knot on your hook, and we're going to yarn over, and we're just going to take this finger here and hold that securely. We're going to insert our hook into the top of that last stitch where we just fastened off our yarn. We're going to grab the yarn and pull it through. We're going to grab the yarn and pull through 2, and then we're going to grab the yarn and pull through 2 again. And all we've done there is substituted the 3 chain stitches for an actual treble crochet, and it just makes everything a bit more secure. So that counts as our first stitch, and all we need to do then is work our way around the square with 3 treble crochets into each one of the spaces as you go around there. Remember that in the corner space you'll be working 3 treble crochets, a chain 2 and another 3 treble crochets into that same space. So I'm just going to continue working my way around, and then I'll come back and show you how to change colour again at the end of this round. So I've just worked my way around now, and I just need to finish off this side. So if we look back to the beginning, we started off with 1 treble crochet on its own. So we're going to finish off the side in the same way and work 1 treble into the top of those chain 3 stitches there. And then we can cut our yarn and just pull that through and turn our square over, ready to start the next round. So I'm going to switch back to this pink colour now, and I'm just going to show you how to begin the next round again. So just like before, I'm going to take a slip knot and pop that on my hook, and we're going to start by working a standing stitch. This time we're going to go straight into this space here. So with that slip knot on my hook, I'm going to yarn over and then just keep that secure by holding it with this finger. I'm going to pop my hook into that space there, grab that yarn and pull it through, grab the yarn again and pull through two, and then grab the yarn and pull through two. And then you might just need to give everything a bit of a tug to make it nice and secure. And that forms our first stitch. So we just need to work 2 more treble crochets into that space, and that's our first cluster of 3 trebles done. And then you would just proceed to work all the way along this side here. In the corner you would work your 3 trebles, chain 2 and 3 trebles, and then to finish off we would work our 3 treble crochets into this space here. So I hope that you found that helpful and that's nice and clear for you how to continue, and you can just keep on going with your square until it's the size you want, either making smaller squares which you're then going to join together, or in the case as with this one that I'm working on here, just keep going, adding more and more yarn until it reaches a really nice big size for you. So I hope you found that tutorial helpful. I would be really grateful if you would like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Take care everyone, bye.